Let me tell you something. Most people are asleep. They're trapped in a slow-motion existence, walking through life like ghosts. But not you. You feel it. That thunder in your chest. That fire in your gut. That storm in your blood. That's adrenaline, and it's not there by accident. When life gets loud, most people curl up. They flinch. They freeze. But winners, we don't freeze, we fight. The adrenaline storm is a signal. It tells you you're alive and that you're about to enter the arena. It's nature's final warning before greatness. You can run from it, or you can ride it like a war horse. Pressure? That's fuel. Fear? That's focus. Doubt? That's just noise. You don't need permission to be powerful. You just need to step forward when others step back. You are built for the storm, not to survive it, to dominate it. When your heart's pounding, your fists clench, and the world slows down, don't question it. Step in, lean forward. That's when you're the most dangerous. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for calm seas. Embrace the chaos. Because inside that chaos is your crown. Let the storm hit. Let the storm hit. Let the adrenaline surge. That's your kingdom calling. Adrenaline is one of the most misunderstood forces on the planet. People feel it surge through their body and think something's wrong. Their hands start shaking. Their heart pounds like war drums. Their breathing gets fast. And they panic. But that's not panic. That's power. That's your body unlocking its combat mode, its edge, its primal software. It's not there to paralyze you. It's there to prepare you. Nature didn't design adrenaline to make you afraid. It designed it to turn you into a weapon. When you feel that rush, that's not weakness. That's your body telling you it's time to dominate. Blood flow increases, pupils dilate, reflexes sharpen, muscles tighten. All of it is precision engineering to give you an edge. You don't get that kind of upgrade sitting on a couch or scrolling on a screen. You get it when the stakes are high. You get it in moments that matter. And instead of running from it, the elite train with it. They learn to stay calm in the chaos. They learn to think clearly while their heart's racing. They learn to perform under pressure, because that's where winners are born. Weak people treat adrenaline like a curse. Warriors treat it like a gift. You think the fighter in the cage isn't full of adrenaline? Of course he is. But he doesn't let it own him. He uses it. He channels it into every strike, every dodge, every decision. That's the difference between someone who breaks and someone who becomes unbreakable. Adrenaline doesn't make you reckless. It makes you responsive. You just need the discipline to direct it, the mindset to master it, and the guts to step into the moment instead of stepping back. The real problem isn't adrenaline. It's the lie society sold you that says staying calm and passive is always better. That your best self is some watered-down version of you, sitting quietly and avoiding intensity. That's nonsense. The world isn't run by calm men. It's built by focused ones. And focus doesn't mean no adrenaline. It means controlled adrenaline, focused fire. Cold-blooded execution with a racing heart. That's the elite mindset. That's what separates the sheep from the wolves. The storm in your veins is your signal. Not to slow down, but to lean in. You're not losing control. You're gaining access. You're tapping into the raw, unfiltered version of yourself that doesn't play small. Every time it hits, you're being invited into the arena. Most will flinch. Most will fold. But if you understand what you've been given, if you train your mind to see adrenaline as the asset it is, then you've got the most powerful force on your side. Not fear, not hesitation, but fire. Controlled, weaponized, and ready for war. Most people live their entire lives trying to avoid the storm. They want predictable days, comfortable nights, and zero resistance. They think peace means safety, and safety means success. But here's the truth they'll never tell you. Growth doesn't happen in the calm. It happens in the chaos. The storm is where your real strength is tested. And if you're wired for greatness, that storm isn't your enemy. It's your proving ground. You weren't built to run from the pressure. You were built to rise inside of it. The storm exposes what you are. Everyone looks like a champion when life's easy. Everyone talks big when nothing's on the line. But when the storm hits, when everything is shaking, uncertain, uncomfortable, that's when the truth shows up. Weak people collapse. They seek excuses, distractions, handouts. They let fear steer the wheel. But not you. Not the ones built for war. You don't fold in the face of chaos. You fuel up from it. The harder it hits, the deeper you dig. That's the difference between average and alpha. When you see pressure, you don't flinch. You lean into it. You know something most don't. Storms are where legends are made. Nice. Every great warrior, every successful mind, every ruthless champion was carved in the chaos. You can't forge steel without fire. And you can't forge a force of nature like you without the storm. So while others hide, you move forward. You push harder. You push harder. You lock eyes with adversity and let it know you're not leaving. You were made for the fight, not the flight. Society has programmed people to worship comfort, to crave ease, to equate struggle with failure. But that mindset is poison. If comfort is your God, weakness is your religion. The storm is nature's way of separating the real from the fake, the driven from the drifting. If you want to be something more than ordinary, you have to step into the storm like it's home, not like it's hell. Because to you, it is home. It's where you come alive, where your instincts sharpen, where your mind gets clear, where your power levels spike. You weren't designed to break in the storm, you were designed to break through it. That pressure in your chest, that's not fear. That's activation. That's readiness. The adrenaline storm doesn't come to crush you, it comes to call you. And the ones who answer that call, they're not scared of lightning. They become lightning. Let the world retreat. Let the weak run for cover. You're different. You weren't built to survive the storm. You were built to command it. The storm isn't a setback. It's a sign. It's not chaos randomly dropped into your life. It's the universe banging on your door telling you it's time. Time to stop hiding. Time to stop waiting. Time to step in. Most people misread the storm. They think it means danger, failure, collapse. But that's because they've been conditioned to run at the first sign of discomfort. The truth? The storm is the clearest signal you'll ever get that something massive is about to shift. And it's your move that decides whether you level up or get left behind. Then, adrenaline doesn't flood your veins for nothing. That rush, that tremble, that tightening in your chest, that's not panic, that's potential. That's your body screaming. This is it. This is the edge. The edge where change happens. The edge where greatness begins. You don't get those signals sitting in a quiet room. You get them when something big is about to happen. Something that could transform everything. You've got the spine to face it. Most ignore the signal. They silence it with distractions, with comfort, with lies. But not you. You know what it is. That storm you feel, it's your next test. It's the moment that separates dreamers from doers. The weak see it and say, not today. The strong feel it and say, let's go. And the signal doesn't come when you're ready. It comes when it's time. That's what makes it so real. The moment doesn't wait for your schedule, your confidence, your perfect circumstances. It shows up with a bang, kicks the door open, and demands an answer. The only question is, do you rise or do you retreat? The storm doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't care about your fears. It only asks one thing. Can you move forward anyway? That's the test. When the adrenaline surges, the path ahead looks dark, and everything in you wants to pause. You step anyway. That's the move that changes lives. That's the move that puts you in the arena while others stay in the audience. It's not that you don't feel the fear. It's that you recognize the fear as a message. This moment matters. That's why the storm is the signal. Not a sign to stop. A sign to start. A sign to start. A signal that the fake version of you is dying, and the real one is waiting to be born. Every surge of adrenaline, every crack of thunder in your chest is nature waking you up to your potential. You weren't made to coast. You weren't made to sit back and spectate. No. You were made to move with purpose when the storm hits. Because while the world sees danger, you see destiny. The signal has come. Now it's time to answer. Everyone loves to believe that in the moment of truth, they'll just rise. That when the lights hit, when the pressure builds, when everything is on the line, they'll magically become their best self. But that's a fairy tale. That's a lie the lazy tell themselves to sleep better at night. The reality, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. The spotlight doesn't create greatness. It reveals it. And if you haven't been grinding in the dark, don't expect to shine in the light. You think a fighter becomes a killer the night he steps in the ring. No, he becomes a killer after 10,000 hours of pain, sweat, and repetition when no one's watching. He doesn't hope he'll rise. He knows he's ready because he's bled for it. That's the mindset of a real warrior. No reliance on luck, hype, or adrenaline alone, just cold-blooded preparation. Just the certainty that when the pressure mounts, his instincts will take over, and those instincts were built in the fire of repetition. Preparation is the real flex. It's the boring, brutal, unsexy work that no one wants to talk about because it doesn't look good on social media. But it's what builds certainty, not confidence, not ego, but a locked-in, undeniable knowing. When the storm hits and others freeze, you move. Not because you're fearless, but because you're ready. Because your body, your mind, your habits, they've all been drilled to operate at a higher standard. The moment doesn't scare you because you've lived in the moment 1,000 times before anyone saw it. The ones who crumble under pressure aren't unlucky, they're unprepared. They gambled on a moment instead of building for one. They treated life like a game of chance while you treated it like war. That's the divide. Preparation is the quiet killer. It doesn't scream, it doesn't post. It doesn't boast, but when the chaos hits, it doesn't need to, because it executes. It performs without hesitation. It steps into the storm like it belongs there, because it does. So stop fantasizing about rising. Start obsessing over being ready. Start preparing like every second counts, because it does. Life won't warn you when your moment arrives. Opportunity doesn't knock politely. It breaks the door down and expects you to already be suited up for battle. And when that moment comes, you won't have time to get ready. You'll only have time to respond. So ask yourself, if it all went down today, would you trust your preparation, or would you pray for luck? Everyone loves to believe that in the moment of truth, they'll just rise. That when the lights hit, when the pressure builds, when everything is on the line, they'll magically become their best self. But that's a fairy tale. That's a lie the lazy tell themselves to sleep better at night. The reality, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. The spotlight doesn't create greatness, it reveals it. And if you haven't been grinding in the dark, don't expect to shine in the light. You think a fighter becomes a killer the night he steps in the ring. No, he becomes a killer after 10,000 hours of pain, sweat, and repetition when no one's watching. He doesn't hope he'll rise. He knows he's ready because he's bled for it. That's the mindset of a real warrior. No reliance on luck, hype, or adrenaline alone. Just cold-blooded preparation. Just the certainty that when the pressure mounts, his instincts will take over, and those instincts were built in the fire of repetition. Preparation is the real flex. It's the boring, brutal, unsexy work that no one wants to talk about because it doesn't look good on social media. But it's what builds certainty, not confidence, not ego, but a locked-in, undeniable knowing. When the storm hits and others freeze, you move. Not because you're fearless, but because you're ready. Because your body, your mind, your habits, they've all been drilled to operate at a higher standard. The moment doesn't scare you because you've lived in the moment 1,000 times before anyone saw it. The ones who crumble under pressure aren't unlucky. They're unprepared. They gambled on a moment instead of building for one. They treated life like a game of chance, while you treated it like war. That's the divide. Preparation is the quiet killer. It doesn't scream. It doesn't post. It doesn't boast. But when the chaos hits, it doesn't need to, because it executes. It performs without hesitation. It steps into the storm like it belongs there, because it does. So stop fantasizing about rising. Start obsessing over being ready. Start preparing like every second counts, because it does. Life won't warn you when your moment arrives. Opportunity doesn't knock politely. It breaks the door down and expects you to already be suited up for battle. And when that moment comes, you won't have time to get ready. You'll only have time to respond. So ask yourself, if it all went down today, would you trust your preparation? Or would you pray for luck? Comfort is a silent killer. It whispers sweet lies in your ear, telling you that rest is reward, that ease is success, that slow days and soft routines are a sign you've made it. But here's the truth no one wants to face. Comfort doesn't create greatness. It kills it. Every legend, every unstoppable force, every dominant mind was carved in discomfort, in adversity, in chaos. Greatness isn't found in quiet mornings with no pressure. It's born in the middle of the storm, when everything's on fire and you're still standing. Chaos is the training ground of the elite. It's where instincts are tested, discipline is revealed, and character is forged. Anyone can be disciplined when life is easy. Anyone can feel confident when nothing is on the line. But throw them into the fire, watch them stumble, watch their fake mindset crumble under heat. That's why real ones seek the chaos. They don't just survive it, they train in it. They chase challenge, they run toward pressure. Because they understand, the harder it gets, the sharper they become. Most people avoid the uncomfortable. They dodge resistance. They hide from anything that threatens their sense of ease. And because of that, they stay soft. They never grow teeth. They never develop the calloused mind or the hardened will to dominate in the real world. Comfort might feel good, but it leaves you unarmed when life inevitably swings. Chaos, on the other hand, prepares you. It demands you adapt, it forces you to evolve. You either rise or get crushed. There's no middle. Your ability to function in chaos is the measure of how dangerous you are. The calm man might look confident, but it's the man who thrives in volatility that you should fear. The one who can stay locked in when everything is breaking, when plans shatter, when emotions surge. That's the weapon. That's the operator. That's the individual who doesn't wait for the perfect conditions, because he is the condition. He brings control to the chaos, because he was built inside it. So don't wish for comfort. Don't chase easy. Chase fire. Chase the edge. Put yourself in situations that demand more of you. Mentally, physically, spiritually. Because every time you face chaos and keep moving, you don't just level up. You transform. You become someone even the storm fears. And when others pray for calm, you'll smile. Because you know the chaos is where you do your best work. It's not your obstacle. It's your origin. Intensity isn't a vibe. It's a weapon. It's not about being loud or hyped up on energy drinks. It's about presence, focus, intent. And here's the thing. You can't fake it. You either have it in you or you don't. You either walk into a room and own it, or you blend into the wallpaper. Intensity doesn't come from noise. It comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you're there to do. The problem: most people try to simulate intensity. They copy the fire, mimic the stare, talk big. But when it's time to deliver, they fold like paper. The real ones, they don't talk about intensity. They live it. They carry it in their eyes, in their posture, in their silence. You feel it before they speak. It's not an act. It's a byproduct of discipline, of sacrifice, of years grinding while the world slept. That kind of intensity can't be manufactured overnight. You can't download it, borrow it, or fake your way into it. It's earned through repetition. Through doing the hard things when no one's watching. Through showing up when most people tap out. Intensity isn't just for the battlefield. It's for everything. How you train, how you speak, how you handle your time. Most people move through life like they've got forever. But intensity is a reminder that you don't. That the clock's ticking. That every second matters. And when you move with that kind of urgency, people notice. Not because you're flashy, but because you're locked in. You don't drift. You drive. You move with purpose, and it shows. That's the kind of presence that separates leaders from followers, killers from victims. The moment you try to fake intensity, the world will test you. Life will apply pressure, and the cracks will show. Because fake intensity crumbles fast. Real intensity crumbles fast. Real intensity, it holds. It doesn't matter if it's a boardroom, a fight, a mission, or a storm. If it's real, it lasts. And the people around you will feel it. They'll either rise to your level or disappear from your circle. That's the power of being genuinely switched on. People respect intensity because they know it's rare, and it can't be faked. So stop performing. Stop pretending to be locked in when you're really distracted. Stop copying what intensity looks like and start living what it feels like. Start showing up to every moment like it might be your last rep, last shot, last chance. Burn the hesitation. Kill the casual. Build the fire for real. And when it's time to act, let them see the difference. Because while everyone else plays the part, you'll be the part. Fear gets a bad rap. Everyone treats it like this monster hiding under the bed, like it's the one thing to avoid at all costs. But fear isn't the enemy. Comfort is. Fear sharpens you. Comfort softens you. Fear wakes you up. Comfort puts you to sleep. The problem isn't that people are afraid. It's that they've convinced themselves that avoiding fear is the goal. It's not. The real goal is to be so familiar with fear, so intimate with it, that it doesn't stop you, it fuels you. Meanwhile, comfort is what creeps in slow, wraps around your life like a blanket, and convinces you mediocrity is good enough. Fear, when understood, is one of your greatest allies. It's a signal. Spotlight. It shows you exactly where the edge is, and the edge is where all growth happens. Growth happens. When you feel fear, it means something matters. It means you're approaching something that could transform you. That could take you to the next level. Or crush you if you're not ready. That's why you lean in. That's why you hunt it down. Because the most valuable things in life, the ones worth fighting for, always sit on the other side of fear. Always. Comfort, on the other hand, is quiet. It doesn't shout. It doesn't challenge. It just slowly convinces you to settle. To stay safe. To repeat the same day over and over again. It convinces you that growth is optional, that hunger is unhealthy, and that pain is to be avoided. It makes you soft, makes you passive, and by the time you realize it's taken over, you've lost your edge, you've become forgettable. That's the danger of comfort. It doesn't attack you, it seduces you. Fear makes you alive, comfort makes you invisible. The top tier of any field, athletes, entrepreneurs, warriors, creators, they don't eliminate fear. They dance with it. They learn to use it as fuel, as focus, as fire. They recognize that fear is the price of leveling up, and they're willing to pay it. For sure, sir. But they also keep comfort at arm's length. They know the second they get too cozy, too relaxed, too certain, that's when the decline begins. Not with a crash, with a fade. That's how people disappear, slowly and comfortably. So if you feel fear, good. It means you're close to something real. That means your path isn't dead. But if you feel comfortable, that's a red flag. That's a signal to shake things up. Push harder, raise the bar, reignite the fire. Because the longer you stay comfortable, the more your potential rots. Fear might hurt in the short term, but comfort will haunt you in the long run. Choose your enemy wisely. There's a moment just before everything flips. When the pressure spikes, the heartbeat accelerates, the noise inside your head goes silent, and all that's left is motion. That moment is the surge. The adrenaline storm hits, your veins ignite, and time seems to slow down while your instincts speed up. Most people choke in that space. They hesitate. They second guess. But not you. Because you were built for the surge. You weren't made to spectate. You were made to spectate. You were made to strike. When everything around you goes blurry, you get clear. That's the difference. The surge isn't for everyone. It's for those who trained when no one clapped. It's for those who condition their mind to stay cold in the heat. The surge doesn't reward motivation. It rewards readiness. It rewards readiness. It rewards the kind of individual who doesn't flinch, doesn't break, doesn't blink when the volume cranks up. That split second where most stall, you launch, that's what makes you different. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you dangerous. You're not here to react to life. You're here to command the moment. When the world zigs, you zag. When the pressure mounts, you don't crumble, you activate. The surge was never meant to stop you. It was built to unleash you. Your biology, your psyche, your drive, it's all wired to fire at full capacity in the storm, not outside of it. And that edge you feel when things get intense, that's your zone. That's home. You don't need calm. You don't beg for peace. You thrive in impact. You're not afraid of the wave. You ride it like a weapon. Most people try to avoid the surge. They think they're not ready. They try to calm themselves down, like their power is something that needs to be tamed. That's why they never break out. Because they're scared of their own edge. You've already made peace with it. You've stopped apologizing for your fire. You don't dilute yourself to fit in with the slow moving. You know exactly what you are. Exactly what you are. And when the surge comes, you don't pull back. You lean into it, fully. Unapologetically. You were built for impact, built for velocity, built to be the one who steps in when everyone else freezes. The surge doesn't scare you, it reveals you. You were never designed to live lukewarm. You were designed to spike, to hit, to switch on at the exact second everything matters. That's what sets you apart. When others short circuit, you go full voltage. Because this storm, this surge, this chaos, it's not your limit. It's your ignition. So when the storm comes, don't run from it. Stand up, breathe it in, let it rip through your nerves and wake something ancient inside you. Because you weren't made to survive storms. You were made to command them. This isn't the part where you slow down. This is the part where you lock in, switch on, and move like you were built for this. The world doesn't need another quiet voice waiting for the perfect moment. It needs someone who owns the chaos, who thrives in the surge, who walks into the adrenaline storm and says, "This is where I begin.